So I want to have a bit of a rant. On my Instagram and my Facebook story, I'm doing a group coaching session on how to get to sex fast. And then guess what? Next morning I wake up and I've got messages from really disgruntled women, upset women. How dare you teach men how to get to sex fast? How dare you want to teach guys to be more sexual? I couldn't believe the messages. Is this the aim of your workshop? Is this the aim of your coaching? Guys don't need to learn how to get to sex. So I had all of these messages from really upset women. Ladies, hold your horses, relax a bit. So let me tell you what's going on. The guys who do get to sex fast, the guys who are really good at sex, the players, the bad boys, the fuck boys, you say, they're disgusting. I hate them, right? Some of you probably do. Most of you don't. The reason why they become fuck boys, they're really good at sex, is because they're really alluring. They're really attractive. That's what makes them fuck boys. Otherwise, if they weren't attractive or something about them, if the market didn't desire them, they wouldn't have that result. So fuck boys are highly sexual. The sexual part, they're highly sexually desired. For the relationship part, not so much. All right. Just like an attractive woman, we desire her. She's amazing, like look wise, but beneath the hood, there's nothing there. Now, the guys I am helping and supporting are not those fuck boys. They're not those bad boys. They're usually people pleasers, nice guys, soft, good men, but they're very lost. They're the ones they don't have the courage, the balls to make the moves. There are most of them down. They're quite afraid. They're quite passive. And those passive men who are afraid to make moves, say boo to you, are the ones that are really frustrating women. Women will go on dates with them and she'll be thinking, why isn't he making a move? What's wrong with me? Or he maybe just wants to be my friend. Date 4, date 5, date 8, date 10. Guys are like, I'm just waiting for her to give me the clue to when to make the move. And she's going, I'm just waiting for him to make the move. So there's no one's making the move. So most of these guys are quite shy. They're introverted. They're tech geeks. They're engineers. They're not the ones that are really fluid, sophisticated. There are guys who have a lot of shame. And what you're doing just then, the comments, the messages you sent were exactly the reason why society is deteriorating. Is because you're shaming them without actually understanding what's going on. You just heard the very explosive title, How to Get Sex Fast. And then it just triggered the fuck out of you. And then you went into this spiral, right? Of like, this is wrong without understanding. Now, this is what you did. And I'm assuming here, but I can just guess from the reaction that you had of what I received. You've just gone into black and white thinking. So in psychology, this is called split thinking. So split thinking, and again, a lot of humans are very guilty of this. I've been very guilty of this, and I've been working on this. Why? Because split thinking, there is something serious really going on underneath. Now, how thinking shows up is you might have, you meet somebody and he's like, wow, this person is amazing. They're great. So you're in that fractured thinking there. So in that split fractured thinking, is like this person's amazing. They're really caring. They're lovely. Everything is amazing about them. And you don't see their negatives until something triggers you or something happens and it triggers you. And then they're horrible. They are disastrous. They're abusive. They're a user. So you've gone from one side to the other side. That's split thinking. There is no gray in that. And that's scary. And you look at the comments on social media, most of the comments, it's all split thinking. You look at the reactions and the content of the comment, it's a lot split thinking. Like, this person's horrible, this person's amazing, this person, usually negative information, content on there. What is split thinking? What's that akin to? It's akin to borderline personality disorder. Now, I'm saying that you have borderline personality disorder. I'm not a clinical psychologist who can assess you on this. You need a deep assessment. But what I'm saying is those kind of split thinking, extreme reactions from like unstable, from like extreme, I hate that person, to that's fucking amazing, that magical thinking is usually kind of like shows up in people with symptoms of borderline personality disorder. They are, and this is so important for guys and girls to really understand the different types of disorder, because the more you get informed with this, without having to be a psychologist or anything, you want to be just the average guy who can just understand a bit of the behaviors so you can do deeper assessments and to see whether the person is compatible with you or not. So when you have such extreme reactions to this, and I can see myself having some borderline personality kind of like traits in myself and the women I've dated and some of my clients and some of the people around me. But I can also see traits of narcissism. I can also see traits of OCD. So there's traits, and these things are on a spectrum. They're not like black and white. You have them or you don't have them. So they're on a spectrum. They only become a problem, or you really need to go and see a specialist when it starts to hinder or have net negative impact in your life. So they're really ruining your relationships. They're really ruining the quality of your relationships, not just intimate relationships, but just relationships with family, siblings, kids. They're really eroding and deteriorating the quality of life. So there's lack of peace in your life. There's chaos, and you're constantly thinking and ruminating about it. That's when you need to get a lot of help and support so you can overcome some of those struggles, that you can start living a quality life. It doesn't have to be quality all the time, but if you're like 60 to 80% of the time you're on that balance, that's where you want to get to. So this is also important for guys to understand that when we are learning and growing, we are going to do things that are going to trigger women. Women are going to do things that are going to trigger us men too. And this is why we need that safe environment so we can discuss this openly, without judgment, without somebody having a overreaction, a borderline reaction to this, that we can do this in a more composed, understanding, compassionate way and find solutions. If the person is out of line, their thinking is, say, destructive, the guys can help and support that person. So we don't need more people on social media to start condemning people, venting their own traumas. That's what you're doing. You're projecting your own shit onto everybody else. And that creates a lot of shame. This is why we need environments so we can discuss this like adults, not like children, having what I call the SBR, spoiled brat reflexes, where you're having a tantrum on there. One of the red flags is somebody who's not curious. A green flag is somebody who's curious. So somebody who's curious would say, interesting. And then help me understand more about this. And again, I'm not saying I'm perfect at this. There's no way I'm perfect at this, but it's something that my trainers, my coaches, my mentors, my therapists are helping me to evolve into, that emerging man that I'm working towards. So I'm making all the mistakes that like everybody else, but I'm getting to a point where I'm making those mistakes less often. So stop ruining my relationships, my dating experiences, my connection and communication with not just romantic people, with all connections. So ladies, when you hear something like this, just take a moment, breathe and get curious. And you guys, same thing, get curious. I mean, it was one statement I put out there, how to get to sex fast. And the guys, the women are thinking, well, why are you just teaching this? But again, with fractured thinking, that split thinking, have you not looked at all the other posts I've done for years, which is on about making women feel safe, better communication, better understanding? Maybe you need to take some time and look at all the things I teach, the 5 masculine fractures, which is all about going into depth. So you're not an avoidant man. So you're not a man who isn't emotionally unavailable. If you look at some of the content that I do, really pay attention, not pay attention to what's the overthinking that's going on in your head, which you're narcissistically consumed about you, your emotions. This is what happens when you're, again, quite on the narcissistic spectrum, is everything's about you, how you are consuming and seeing things in the world. Get out of that for a moment. Just get curious. And again, this is a message for everybody, not just you ladies. This is a message for men as well. Get out, just evolve into that adult self. And again, it's going to be a journey. You are going to make mistakes, but this is what we need. We need people to, when we make those mistakes, we need men and women to call them out, to help us get back in line, to help us think, question us. So really, do you really need to have that reaction? Could you take time out and really question what's going on? And again, even I'm making a statement here, but I'm just pointing out, highlighting some of the things that men are struggling with. So we don't need more shame. We need more understanding. This is why men's suicide is, over 75% of suicide is by men. Men are really struggling here. And I know that women are struggling too. I mean, a lot of medication women are taking. Women are taking more anxiety, stress kind of medication. The world isn't helping us. Social media isn't helping us. Our food isn't helping us. The industry in the world isn't favoring the average, the normal people. The world is so catered around profit. It's so catered around other things to really exploit us. So why don't we just work in ways that working in harmony, working together, rather than just allowing our own selves just to burst out? And I know you will do this. I know I will do this too. That's why we need a community of people. And the guys in my community, that's what we're there for. We're there to learn, to support, to grow, to elevate. For the man that's emerging, that's dying, that's waiting to come out. That's what we're doing. So I appreciate if you do listen to the end of the message. I appreciate that. And again, let's put some greatness out there in the world. And there's a message for all the men, all the women, including myself. Stay blessed.